Ayad nga agahon, coming to you live from Numancia, Aklan, in Western Visayas here in the Philippines. I'm having my morning cup of coffee in my coffee with Ginno cup. There's the Dazzle TV logo that my good friend HD designed that logo right there. Really cool logo. I really like that logo. My Copico Blanca, 3-in-1 coffee here in the Philippines. Coffee, cream, and sugar all in one. Powder form. It's powder form. You just put it in your cup, put hot water, and you're good to go. You have a nice cup of coffee. Very popular here. A lot of people here in the Philippines, they have their particular brand of 3-in-1 coffee that they drink in the morning. I would say 3-in-1 coffee is more popular than brewed coffee here in the Philippines. There are brew coffee machines here that you can get same glass pot where you can brew coffee, but these are just so easy to make. You know, it's like usually people have those so takori or the hot pot to heat hot water, and all you need is the 3-in-1 coffee, and you're good to go. Hey, good morning, Ray in the Philippines, in Tagaytay, soon to be in Panay Island, visiting Panay Island. Ray's gonna be headed here to Panay Island to check out Panay Island, meet up with other vloggers here. Ray has a YouTube channel, Ray in the Philippines. He lives in Tagaytay area, beautiful area where he lives. Cooler temperatures, nice area. Touristy, very touristy area. Tagaytay, very popular. If you're in Manila, highly recommend you at least visit Tagaytay. You're so close. If you're vacationing in Manila, you're like maybe an hour by car. If you can rent a car or have a driver or hotel take you to Tagaytay, definitely worth it, I think, to visit Tagaytay. See Taal volcano, one of the iconic tourist destinations here in the Philippines is Taal volcano. It's in the middle of a lake. You got Starbucks in there, really nice. One of the best Starbucks here in the Philippines as far as the amazing view. I've been at that Starbucks. It's just like you're like in awe of the view of the lake and the volcano. I had Copico Blanco last 2 days. I was leaving soon and was out of sugar and didn't want to buy more since. Oh yeah, you don't want to have sugar in your on your home in Tagaytay, man. You never know with ants. Ants have a tendency of creeping up here. Us, we don't have a problem with ants. I think we solved our ant issue when we first moved here about 9 years ago. 2016 is when we moved here to Camila, Aklan. We would get ants, we would get grasshopper, we did get bugs because we had grass as our yard. That's why one of the things is, I got tired of mowing the grass, cutting the grass, so I just cemented all our yards. So now I don't have that issue. And it eliminated bugs, it eliminated ants, solved that problem for me. Panay Posse in the house. All right, Panay Posse in the house. Good morning, brother. Paul Von good morning, brother. Paul. Hello, Paul. Hello, Von said hi. Hello, Von. All the Filipina tourists come to Tagaytay to see me. Hey, man. Can't blame them, brother. Can't blame them, man. Good morning. All right, I'm gonna start with the weather like I usually do. Right now, there is no weather like a typhoon, tropical depression, nothing like that. So perfect time for you, Ray, to travel, man. No, you're not gonna get hit with weather. Of course, habagat. Habagat is monsoon season here in the Philippines. You just never know. It'll rain, but it doesn't stay the whole day or anything. It'll downpour and then sunshine. I mean, right now it's like beautiful here in our area of Numancia, Aklan province and Western Visayas. It's just like, I'm just amazed because this time of the year, usually September, we're getting rain here, but right now we're not. And for the whole Philippines, really, it says here, Metro Manila, Central Luzon, Batanes, Western Visaya, all of it just being affected by the southwest monsoon, the Habagat, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms. I'm gonna show you real quick outside. I'll show you outside how the weather is outside here in our area. Oh, there's Chloe's coming down. Dazzle's coming down too. She's awake. She's awake early. Good morning, Dave. I'm gonna show them outside really quick. Chloe probably woke up her mama this morning. That's usually the case with, just look at that bright sun this morning again. I mean, that is just bright and sunny, no clouds at all, nothing but blue skies today. Look at that, that's all blue skies. It's gonna be a warm day today. It's already like 80 degrees Fahrenheit at 7:20 in the morning. Leanna this morning, I already took her to school. She has intramurals actually today. Sports, intramural sports today and tomorrow. She's gonna be busy with intramurals. But just a sunny day, another quiet day in the neighborhood. Let me look. They already took out, they had a tent there at the end because they had the birthday party. That's gone. Everything back to normal in our neighborhood here. They've actually finished painting the wall that here in the Camellia Aklan, that's the house there. They call that one side where there's no window. They call that here the firewall. I guess, you know, same thing in my house, you know, my neighbor here, this is my neighbor's firewall. I guess just in case they have a fire, it doesn't cross over to our house. That's what I guess the idea of the firewall. But yesterday, they used that scaffolding right there and they painted the whole fire. There's actually two guys yesterday. There was only one guy painting the house, but yesterday he had an assistant. There's Bumblebee. I used Bumblebee today to take Leanna to school because it's sunny. I always ride Bumblebee when it's sunny. We use our car when it's raining. But bright and sunny. I got to go back in because I can't stand too long in the sun. I'll be sweating. Gets pretty warm here fast. Like I know by 9, I would say by 9 a.m. I'll bet you it's gonna be like hot already by 9. But at least like 90 degrees with humidity, with like 70% humidity. That's what gets you here is the humidity. That's what most people, they have a hard time adjusting here because of the humidity. Right, let me see. Let me go back here. I don't want to miss anybody. Well, hey, Ray. All right. Jody Esses. Hi, sir. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Jody Esses. All right. Edgar. Hey, good morning, Edgar. Good morning. All right. All right, Ray. Thank you. Thank you for that, Ray. Vaughn. Ginno, are you thinking about having solar power? Yes, you know, I've always thought about it. I mean, I have the Blue Yeti here. The Blue Yeti is all I've needed, you know, because, but not the whole entire house. You know, it's like just a little upgrade from my Blue Yeti power station. More battery, basically, if I can get set up. I'm not gonna spend over $2,000. That would be my limit. Enough to like maybe if it can run a couple of fans, a couple of lights, I'll be good with that. And maybe a refrigerator. If you can run, we have an inverter type refrigerator now, so it doesn't take up a lot of electricity. If you can power all that, I'm good with that. I don't need the solar power that powers the entire house. To me, that's too extravagant. That's too extravagant for me. That's above my pay grade. That's not within our budget. But $2,000, if I can set up, have enough solar. I have like a carport where I parked. Used to park a bumblebee or tricycle. I can put the panels up there. Maybe three panels. If I can, like I said, if I can just run some, maybe to cut down on electricity or electricity bill. Our electricity bill here, it only costs us like 3,500 to 4,000 pesos a month. So it's not, $75 is our electricity every month. So it's not like, not like a big amount of electricity we use. But if I can get some solar and can cut down the 75, plus it's just cool. I think it's just cool, man. It's cool to have solar. I know we enjoy it when there's a power outage and we can have still internet and run like our portable fans, like these portable fans, the Blue Yeti charges, and so we like it. At least it's not so uncomfortable, because it gets uncomfortable here when you don't have electricity at night, especially at night. When there's no AC at night, man, it gets hot. It's hard to sleep here. Yeah, but it's like, that's what I said, man. Past couple of days, the sun has been like bright and beaming, blue skies. I mean, it's intense. I gotta have sunscreen. I usually wear my hat. I got my hat here when I'm outside, but then it's just like super bright, man. Ginno and the rest of the Panay Privates. All right, Daniel, you keep changing our name, man. We're now the Panay Private. I don't know, but I like Posse better. Private sound kind of like, I don't know if that sound right there, Daniel. Good morning. Power the AC and fridge at least, including the AC. I think it might take more. I do know, like I was actually looking at it at the Ace Hardware store. They actually have, I have like a tiny AC unit, a window type, a square one, 0.5 horsepower. I mean, it's like some almost like a mini AC. And I did see that they have one now that's like the window type square ones that were inverter. So that might even, see, excuse me, save me money if I upgrade to that when our AC finally gives out. I mean, the AC I have, it's been good for like 9 years since we moved in here. We bought that AC new, and I have it cleaned. Here, what they do with that window type AC, there's a guy that comes out here every, I would say, 6 months. He takes out the AC unit, cleans it inside and out. I pay like 300 pesos, 300 for him to clean the air conditioning. I got to behave now. In the house, Sergeant. The pirates. All right. And then today I have a topic. Today, I always try to have a topic. That way, there's a topic of discussion. Maybe you can pick up, little lesson. So I always try to. I saw this post. I belong to several expat groups here in the Philippines. It's a way for me to track what expats are thinking, what's the topic of discussion. Right now, one of the topics of discussion is Social Security. But I'm not going to report on that today. I'm going to research it some more, because you've always been able to get your Social Security here in the Philippines. Actually, like me, when I turned 62, that's less than 3 years. I'm getting close to my Social Security. I will just have to fly to Manila, go at the U.S. Embassy. There's a Social Security office there, and sign up for Social Security 3 months before my 62nd birthday. And then I can designate a bank here in the Philippines, and they can deposit my Social Security check at the bank here in the Philippines, a Philippine bank account. So I got that figured out already. I know I've seen people that's the process. The one change and it's not, I haven't verified with an individual that I know, but many are saying on the expats group, you can now call the Social Security at the U.S. Embassy here in the Philippines, in Manila, and you can do that. You have to do this form that you have to mail in, basically telling them that you're still alive every year. You have to confirm that you're alive so they can continue your Social Security here. A lot of people in the past, I know, they have the form, it gets mailed to their house, or not. If they get the form online, they send it to the embassy here using DHL. That's one recommendation I've heard from many people. Never use the Philippine post office because no telling what happens when you use the Philippine post office. DHL, pay that extra service for the courier, and no problems. Nobody's ever had any problems with their getting their Social Security here, getting it to the Philippine bank. The change is now you have the option of calling. You have to verify that you're still alive. And then, and then like the form itself, I guess you can just download the form, sign it, and then do the DHL service. But I guess the main change is being able to call. But they say it's hard to like get through. You have to be patient. When you get through, you got to go through the. But it saves the process. For me, I never worried about getting my Social Security here. I knew I was going to get it here. Why would they not deny me Social Security because I live in the Philippines? That don't make any sense. If I had to go to a Social Security office in Manila every year, I would do that. If that's the requirement, whatever day requirement they have, I would do it, just to make sure I continue my Social Security. I just noticed people get like wound up, and then some vloggers don't help, because some vloggers, they'll do a video and cause panic here. I've never worried about ever getting my Social Security. I always knew I was going to get my Social Security here in the Philippines. But the topic I was going to discuss this morning, I saw this on one of the expat groups I belong. There was this girl that she posted on she's from Ontario, Canada. She's a digital worker. She can work online, a digital nomad. And she was considering going here to the Philippines because she said it's becoming terrible in Ontario. Expenses and just not a good place to live. So she was looking at the Philippines. And of course, when you post something like that on Facebook, she got bombarded with some negatives, some all kinds of advice from people. I guess it's okay if you do that. That way you can kind of sift through all the information. I messaged her. I offered my help if she wanted my help. But you have to go. I think by this morning I looked. She had close to 300 messages that she has to go through to sift through all those people. And some comments are just crazy. You get people. Some of them I don't think they've even been here to the Philippines, but they just maybe they had a bad vacation here in the Philippines or something, and making general statements. To me, I never make general statements of the Philippines because the Philippines is 7,000 islands. There's cities, there's provinces. You really can't generalize the entire Philippines. You can't make a comment the entire Philippines floods, or the entire Philippines got terrible constant power outages. Maybe some area, but some areas are okay. So to me, I've never make those general type statements because most of the time I find them untrue when you make a general statement. And my advice to her, and the topic of my discussion today, is find out for yourself. I know, I've mentioned before, it's a good idea if you can do a recon. I call it recon. Even vacation, even a couple, one trip to the Philippines just to see the Philippines before you commit to moving here. But I do understand because not everybody is in that financial situation. Even a visit here to the Philippines will cost you money. Plane ticket alone, I know sometimes costs $2,000 and up. And then the travel, that trek here, the hotels here, especially on your first visit here, you don't know, you're more likely you're going to stay at a hotel, a higher end hotel or Airbnb. It can get costly. A visit to the Philippines, even, I would say, even like 30-day visit, just your ticket, expenses, man, can easily run you $4,000, $5,000. And I know, not many now in America, I know, don't even have that kind of play money to be playing with like 4,000. I saw a statistic one time how, people don't even have, have money to get their car fixed or something like that, don't have emergency money. So $4,000, $5,000 on a trip, on a vacation, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. It's not no joke of a money now. But I always look at it, it's good if you can see the Philippines before you make that big commitment. And I know many people, military people like me, we were stationed here in the Philippines back in the 80s. Clark Air Base, Subic Naval Base, Wallace Air Station, San Miguel, Camp O'Donnell. So many bases here that were stationed here. But you can't base your moving to the Philippines if you haven't been here since the 1980s. Just my opinion. The Philippines has changed a lot from the 1980s. I would even say, even for Filipino Americans, I know many Filipino Americans go to the United States, live in the US 10, 20, 30 years, and then plan on just, haven't been back all those years, just like packing up and going to the Philippines. Even that, you will be surprised. I know if you haven't been here to the Philippines, I would even say 10 years. If you haven't been here, because I've been here now 14 and I've seen the growth of the Philippines, the changes here in 14. If you haven't been in the Philippines for 10 years, you can't really base your idea about the Philippines based on 10 years ago. Just my opinion, it's like things are constantly changing here. Even me, I've been here 14 years. I never consider myself an expert of living here. I'm still learning. That's why I like communication with people. I like helping people when they move here because I ask questions. Things are constantly changing here. You can't base your big move from something that you did, like, especially if you haven't been in the Philippines since the 1980s and you're, I was there, during this time, it's like, I know the Philippines. Trust me, you don't, Angeles City, for an example, where Clark Air Base used to be, you would not even recognize inside and outside of the base. Trust, if you haven't been to the Philippines in Angeles City, you were stationed at Clark Air Base in the 80s. It does not look like the same base it was in the 1980s. Before, outside the gate, outside the fence, I think the tallest building before was maybe Clarkton Hotel. Maybe 3 stories, was like, everything else was just like 2 stories, 3 stories. Now they got like skyscrapers now. Now they got like condominiums, like 20, 25 floors. They got hotels, 20, 25 floors. Even the inside of the base, does, there's sections that will remind you of Clark Air Base, but there's malls inside now of Clark Air Base. There's casinos now inside Clark Air Base. It's not the same. The big airport now at Clark Air Base. So it's not the same. It's not the same as what you might remember. Just keep that in mind, when you're making that big decision to like jump and make that leap of faith. Not that I'm discouraging you for making that leap of faith, but it's a good idea if you can visit first, if you can afford it, if it's affordable, if it's reasonable, visit first before jumping to make the move to the Philippines. It's a big jump, big change of life. It's a life-changing event to move to the Philippines. And then, like I always say, what I've learned, that's why I don't generalize. When I give advice to somebody, I always I've seen it so many times. There's no 2 people that are alike. Like me, it's like, I know myself, I've been here 14 years. I've experienced a life here in Aklan province. I can't base like, if you come here, I can't base like you're gonna like it because I like it, because I've been here 14 years now. Like my friend Brian was saying on one of my videos, when I did that video going to the backyard, he was amazed how like they got spaghetti wires here as like the power lines. But that one turn, I made the right turn going to the backyard. There's actually two streets that go this way, one street. And when you look on the power lines, it's not just like a spaghetti wire. It's like a spider web. It's almost like a spider web of power lines. And he noticed that. Brian said, "Man, I'm amazed. How that works. But for me, I don't even notice that anymore. Because I've been here so long, I see it every day. So to me, it's not something I notice anymore. So that's why I say, it's like maybe." Because I've been here so long, a lot of the things here are normal to me now. It's like taking a shower using a tabo. If I go to like a budget hotel here, if I see a bucket and a tabo, that's normal to me now. That's not, like when we went to the Malumpati Resort with James and Karen from James and Karen's Adventure. After we were done with the river, you go to the shower there to Malumpati River, and they get a big bucket and a tabo. And to me, that's normal now, right? But for an American coming here for the first time, they're going to go, what is this? What is this pail of water and a tabo? Tabo is like the scoop, to scoop the water. That's how we shower here, to me. That's why I said, you can't compare. You can't, like that's why when people come here, I never like, I just guide people. I try to make it a soft landing for people, but I never, I really can't tell whether they're gonna like the area or, Ginno, I'm gonna try somewhere else. I'm gonna go to Boracay. I'm gonna go to Dumaguete, Iloilo. And to me, that's fine. I just want them to have like a good start when they get here. I just got notes here on my other phone because I didn't want to miss the thing that I've noticed that you gotta watch. I'm seeing more and more people. I remember this one vlogger. I don't see him anymore. He used to go on my feeds on my feeds on YouTube. I remember him because like he got here to the Philippines, he went to BGC, and he would travel to Boracay. And he was only here like, I think 1 year. He was living BGC, Boracay. Next thing you know, he was charging consultation fee. And I was like, he's got every right to do that. I'm not saying, but to me, I would be like, why would you ask somebody, a consultation fee for somebody that's only been here a year, I would think it would be somebody that's been here for a little bit, right? For a little bit, but I don't think he's here now. I don't see him on my feeds anymore. And then I remember Lowell was, he reached out to me because he was thinking of going to Cebu City. And he mentioned to me that there's a vlogger there that was like asking him $500 to assist him. I'm like, just be careful with that. I'm not saying don't do it. Like I said, all I can say is I never charge. So to me, I just don't feel good about that. Like, I will never charge, as far as like helping another brother, especially my military vets, my military retired. To me, it's like, it doesn't feel right for me to charge. And for somebody to get in that business, if they got a good background here, they've been here many years, maybe, I would recommend them. But right now, I don't have anybody to recommend like that, recommend somebody that charges money just for their help here in the Philippines. All right, I think I covered it. I covered everything. I covered. I can go back. I can go back to all the messages here. I try to give a topic that way. At least there was a topic of discussion, and you can comment. You comment whether what you think about it. It's like about doing that recon, coming here to the Philippines first, checking it out. I think it's an easier leap to make, instead of like never been to the Philippines, just jumping and you're here, you're moved here. But I've seen it work though. I've seen it work. My friend in Iloilo City, Frederick, perfect example. Never been outside the United States, never been Southeast Asia or the Philippines, and he made the leap of faith to the Philippines, and he's been there over a year now, and he's happy. He's happy. He's started a new life. In Iloilo City. Ooh, I gotta go back. Here. There's many comments here. Oh, there's really. I mean, the comments really go fast. I'm sorry. I don't want to miss anybody. That's why. Okay, I see that now. The solar power was the last one I read. The sun is bright. Panay bright. Okay, all right, there it is. Power the AC and fridge at least. Phone charging. Yeah, phone charging. I got the Blue Yeti here. I actually have my phone hooked up to it. And this Blue Yeti power station I got, it's the size of a car battery. I've had this now for 6 years and it's like running strong. I'm like, it's well paid for itself. Actually, when this goes out, I'll buy a bigger one, a better one, because they're gotten cheaper. I bought this, I paid like close to 20,000 pesos for this Blue Yeti power station. Now I can get one for 15,000 pesos and it's bigger, more power than this. So I know like the price is that's why it interests me now after watching Michael White and after watching James in these videos, because I've seen how the cost has dropped. And you can order from Lazada pieces that you need to assemble solar power here. That's the only reason I'm considering it, But a small, a budget one, a budget solar power, like maybe, like I said, maybe 2,000 and under. I'm not gonna go over $2,000. Can run an aircon? I don't think so. I don't think, Tanya, I don't think they've created a Blue Yeti yet that can power an aircon. I'll have to check, but I don't think, because even this Blue Yeti I got, I have to be careful of what I plug in it. It's I don't want to plug any like that electric stove, things that like needs a big burst of wattage, it can blow it up, so I'm careful of usually cell phones, fans, like portable fans, our internet, our TV, but it's nice because I don't even have the solar panels for this yet. I just charge it when there's a long power outage like it did in 2019. That's the reason. I'm glad I had this in 2019 when Typhoon Ursula, Christmas Day, Super Typhoon Ursula knocked out the power here in our province like for 1 week. And I was charging this inside my car. I would just like when the Blue Yeti was coming down, I just plug it into my car, a cigarette lighter, drive to Calibo, go to McDonald's, do whatever, come back, and it's all charged up again. It's definitely worth it. I always recommend to people. I think it's a must to have, especially if you're doing anything online. You need steady internet. You want internet all the time. You have to have a power station. Work from home today and tomorrow. So happy. All right, the Fortune, my good friend in Bacoor, Cavite. Ray is lucky to have many Pinays looking for you. Tanya, welcome to the party. All right. I'll bring the rum. I'll have Ginno portion. I'm not much of a drinker, man. I might drink one beer, but I think the last beer I had was at the Canadian Beaver. A Dazzle's party. I did have like half a beer. I don't even finish. Dazzle's watches me. Like if I have a beer, I'll sip the beer, and she'll try to finish it. That way, I don't drink anymore. Max Survivor benefit to Dazzle. Yeah, I got that covered, Vaughn. I mean, I got enough. She'll have enough money. I have my my veteran life insurance. Dazzle's the only beneficiary on my insurance. So yes, use a courier. When they deliver, they take a photo with the receiver and send you the proof. Yes, yes. I've never really sent anything to the Philippine Postal Service here. My whole time here, I can't remember us sending anything to the Philippine Postal Service because it'll get lost. Things that got sent to me from the United States that people tell me they sent, I never got. It's always like UPS, FedEx, any courier, but not the Philippine Postal Service. Ray, LOL, Fortune. I don't know about Lucky. Lately, I'm having to hear about Marites. Marites here in the Philippines, they're the females here that likes to start rumors, gossiping, start rumors. That's what Marites. If you're wondering what Marites, when you hear the word Marites here, that Ray is referring to. Between fighting over me, I say, why is this my problem? Why is this my problem? Local Social Security like GSIS have what they call APIR, APIR. You will just set an appointment with their hotline for a Zoom. Oh, that's a good idea, man. That's a good idea. I wouldn't be surprised if they copy that. They copy that at the embassy. Now that they're allowing calls at the U.S. Embassy, Social Security at the embassy, that makes too much sense to do that video call. Prove that you're alive. To say, proof of life. They call it here like proof of life, that you're still alive. One. Hello, good sir. All right. Fortune, Marites is master of arts in relaying information through exaggerated storytelling. I like that. I like your abbreviation there, Fortune. One, he is a sergeant. No way in my what is he ever considered a sir? A sir, right? Most of the time, like the enlisted people, we don't like being called sir. It's like. It's the officers usually like that's called sir in the military. Too true. I get it. My bad, Edgar. I'm sure he works for a living. Please accept my apologies. Sir, ma'am culture in the Philippines will be a challenge. Yes. You will hear that. You will hear that here at the mall, at fast food. It's like... you will be called sir. I've been called sir here all the time. Dazzle now too, ma'am. It's just Filipinos. That's part of the culture. Part of the respect, ma'am and sir. But I believe he drove a tank. So think of the worst woman driver you ever saw. And that's he drove a tank. He drove a tank. Just an enlisted man, enlisted NCO. I talked about Sir Ma'am in my live stream last night. All right. It's always meant, yes, it always meant in a positive way. Yeah. You should always, to me, like, that's why when I talk to people, I always say kuya. I always like, even if the person's a lot younger than me, I always like kuya, ate. That's a way of respect for me. You're just not calling him hoy. You're not calling him hoy. I need help. You don't. It's polite for me anyway. When I approach, hey ate. It's like hey kuya. It's a good polite way. I've always been polite. You guys notice that anyway. I'm politically correct. I don't cuss. I don't say bad words. It's like. I live in Columbus, Georgia, right outside Fort Benning. I've heard of Fort Benning. Never made it. But I've heard Fort Benning. It's just respect. Yes. Like kuya, right? Fortune, kuya ate. It's just when even when I go to McDonald's, I go to Jollibee, when I order ate, this is when it doesn't matter how young they are or how old, I always say kuya and ate out of just respect, Greetings, Ginno. What is your biggest fear in life? Andy Mashifane. Biggest fear in life? I can't think, offhand, I can't think of, I'm a cancer survivor, I survived cancer treatments. Maybe before I might, but I don't call it like fear of like death, but, now I've even accepted it, now that I know cancer can come back to me at any time. I can be gone in like any time, it's like I don't even fear death anymore. I've accepted it. For me, I've had a good life. I'm 59 years old. I've been retired 14 years. It's been a great life. No regrets. It's like I got good family that takes care of me, people that love me. So to me, it's like anything I get now in life is just extra to me. Lowell, kumusta? Kumusta, Lowell? Kumusta from Oregon? Mabuhay, mabuhay. God bless. God bless, my friend. God bless, my friend. Thank you for joining the live stream, Lowell. Appreciate you, my brother. One, that's where I was born, in the infantry. I'm born in the infantry. Southern Cal. Good morning, Ginno. I don't know if you've discussed this before already, but I saw in the news that age qualification for SRRV was lowered. Yeah, I haven't discussed, I didn't make a video. I'm not an expert on SRRV, but they have, I saw that they reduced the age to 40, but they require more money to deposit in the Philippine bank. If you're military, it might have increased some, but I think it's significant if you're not related to the military pension. The deposit that you have to keep in the banks here in the Philippines increase as far as that. I remember when the retirement age was 35 for SRRV. I remember that when they changed it from 35 to 50. Now they went back to 40. The reason they changed it from 35 because the Chinese, they abuse it. It's like there were so many Chinese that took that SRRV at 35 basically to work here in the Philippines, not to retire. So they had to bump it to like 50, but now back to 40. To me, it's not, not a big thing. It's like I always tell people, it's like, especially if you're like 40, it's like, I don't know many people really, like that, maybe with the military retired pension, maybe rich people, and then to me, if you're rich, why retire in the Philippines? Philippines to me is like a place for the retire on a budget. It's like if you're rich, if you're a millionaire, I don't, why would you come to a developing country if you live in a developed country already? But I did see that. Even when the SRRV was at 50, many people had contacted me and they were saying, man, I don't know if I can, I think one time it was like 10,000. I don't know if I can leave 10,000, dollars in the bank that long without earning anything. People were like hesitant to do the SRRV here because of the money deposit. And now they increased the money deposit. To me, it's like the tourist visa is the way to go, especially if you're, if you're just try it out. Try the Philippines first for 6 months to a year. Because one thing I know, Southern Cal Benny, people vacation here in the Philippines. This is a typical scenario that happens. They go to Palawan, they go to Boracay, they go to Panglao, the vacation hotspots of the Philippines, right? They stay here for 2-3 weeks. And they go, wow, of course, you're living the life. You're living in a resort. You're like, this is paradise, right? And then they go back to the US and I'm moving to the Philippines, get rid of everything and then move to the Philippines. But vacationing here for 30 days and living here full time, those are two different animals, in my opinion. It's like a vacation, you're staying at hotels, you're staying at nice resorts. Once you live here, unless you got a lot of money, you're gonna have to start budgeting. Because you're probably gonna be living on a fixed income, a steady income, like a pension, a military pension, a postal pension, school pension, whatever pension. But once you move here, you're not on vacation anymore. You're gonna have to make sure your budget, your pension is gonna last. from month to month. You know, when you're on vacation here in the Philippines for 30 days, a lot of times you're just charging it in credit cards. You're like, oh, charged out my hotel. You're like living the life. You're just enjoying. To me, it's and then a lot different dynamics when you live here, because when you're on vacation, you're only seeing all the good about the Philippines. When you live here, the longer you live here, the more you're gonna see like the inconveniences, the waiting in lines, the bureaucracy. With everything, it's like the rules, living here, the dynamic with, like, if you live outside the gated community, the loud karaoke at night, the people getting drunk all the time, roosters everywhere, that kind of thing. A lot of times when you're on vacation, you don't see that stuff because you're staying in a hotel or a resort. I view it the same way as someone giving you a gift. Whether you want it or not, you never say, why did you give me this? That's just rude. Yeah. I get that, Ray. I'm always, like I said, you can tell, right? That I'm always polite. I'm always like, like if somebody gives you something, I'll say thank you. It's like, God bless the infantry. Why is the sky blue? It's just like that. To me, what the blue skies mean, when the blue skies, it means no rain. Because usually rain, I see clouds, either white or gray clouds. But when it's like blue skies, I know to me, it's a sign of no rain at all. It's gonna be a hot day. It's gonna be a hot day for sure. I used to have a boss who was Pakistani, but he was Western schooled. Okay. So it's normal at work to address a higher ranked sir, ma'am. For him, sir was like being knighted. Yeah, to me, I understand the respect, but I don't expect it. If they don't call me sir, it don't bother me. It's like, good morning, Kuya. Good morning, Vegas Will. Good morning, Vegas Will. I already did the weather report. Not much to report on the weather report. Amazing weather we were having. It's like my friend Elmer and his wife from Kentucky, they're in Boracay. I'm so happy for them because they've been in Boracay for like the 2 weeks, but they took time to like go to Rojas City and go to Iloilo. Now they're back in Boracay. But man, this like amazing weather for them. This time of the year, August, end of August and September, he got lucky. He got lucky. Him and his wife got lucky in Boracay because usually nothing but rain during that time. And then my other friend Don and from Georgia, Don outside Atlanta, and his wife, they're in Bacolod right now. They're coming to Boracay tomorrow with some relatives. There's like six people. And I connected him with Dazzle's cousin. Dazzle's relatives, a lot of them work in Boracay Island as a masseuse, tour guide, working a boat, you name it. That's they're Boracaynon. Dazzle's mom, she's a Boracaynon. So we know people in Boracay, so I connected him with one of Dazzle's cousins, and he'll help him as far as like tour guide, getting the right price. That way you don't have to haggle in Boracay. So if anybody needs assistance like that, because it's a pain in Boracay, because you're gonna be nonstop bombarded when you're like walking Front Beach. They're gonna be selling you tours. Everybody's approaching you, but if you say I already have one, then they'll leave you alone. If I already have a tour guide. The minute you say that, they'll leave you alone. That's probably a good thing to say. It's like if you're trying to come up with usually I say no thank you. I just like wait, no thank you, Kuya, no thank you, Ate. But you'll get bombarded nonstop, even for me. But you can say I already have a tour guide. The minute you say that, they're gonna leave you alone. It's a U.S. Army inside joke. Oh, okay, man. Yes, it was lower age, but the deposit is much higher. All right. See, Daniel's our expert on SRRV because Daniel's really interested on SRRV, and I think he's gonna do it once he gets here. But like he said, they lowered it 40 from 50, but they increased the deposit that you have to keep in a bank. No yin without the yang. No yin without the yang. All right. Noe, which is the best restaurant in the Philippines and shopping malls? Best restaurant? I guess it depends on the individual, but shopping malls, to me anyway, and when I travel, SM is kind of like the SM Mall of Asia in Manila is very popular. I've been to that. I've been to SM Seaside in Cebu City. I've been to Iloilo at SM City Mall. So that to me, it's probably like the best, the biggest malls. Some of them even got ice skating. The one in the Mall of Asia in Manila got like ice skating, you know. Restaurant, it just depends on your taste, you know. It depends on your taste. Many franchise restaurant. I mean, Jerry's Grill is popular for like seafood and Filipino food if you're looking for Filipino food. But if you're looking for like Western food, BGC would be your place. You know, they have like Texas Roadhouse there. They have TGIF, places like that. Ray, yes, a lot of people view sir as someone is above them, but it is just respect. So if a younger man greets me, sir, thank you, sir. Yeah, I'll do the same. I'll do the same, Ray. I return the favor, right? That's a good way. If they call me sir, hey, sir, or kuya, you know, just the respect. You know, it's all about respect. You know, Ray won't have any problem here in the Philippines because he's respectful of the culture, respectful of the people here. The people that get in trouble are the ones that feel entitled. They feel like Filipinos are beneath them. And you see those, I mean, anybody that's been here in the Philippines know that there's foreigners here that they think they're better than the locals because they have more money. And to me, that's just not the way I act. You know, it's like money, that's the thing here in the Philippines, even with the local Filipinos. Money is the thing that like, you get called sir and ma'am when people notice that you have money. You know, when you're driving a nice car or you're dressed nice, you're dressed like a politician. You know, you come out with Barong Tagalog, you automatically get sir and ma'am here. But a lot of times I notice here, the people like just get that, you know, when the rich people automatically, just because maybe it's just a culture, money is respected here in the Philippines. That's what I could say. If you like luxury, BGC, all right. See, Fortune seconding me as far as if you like cold weather, Baguio, Tagaytay, we're raised from Tagaytay. That's probably why Ray selected Tagaytay, because of the cooler temperatures. If you want to party, Angeles, you want Manila, lesser extent Cebu. Oh man, you hit everything. That would be my recommendations too, Fortune. You hit all the right notes there, all the right notes. In the U.S. Army, being called a sir as an enlistant is unbecoming as a non-commissioned. Oh, okay. To us, it wasn't like that, Vaughn. Maybe like you said, it's an Army thing. In the Air Force, we called sir, ma'am. Like people that outrank me, I would call them sir. People that even enlisted, I would call them sir or ma'am. Po, on the other hand, I view as a sign of recognition, respecting authority or wisdom. Yeah, you add po to everything. You know, it's like I said. You know, Ray got it going on. Ray already knows. Ray already knows. Jennifer Terry said she helps with SRRV Classic Visa at no cost. She is a marketeer. All right, I've watched her videos before, especially during the pandemic. You know, she has good information. I know she's got many subscribers. So if she's offering a SRRV Classic with no cost, I mean, to me, that's a sign for me that a person is genuinely wanting to help you when they're not charging you any money. You know, to me, I'm suspicious if somebody, I'll help you, but I need $500. I'll be like, you know, that's suspicious. That's suspicious to me. Po and Oppo, yes, Vaughn, different in military with established custom. Indeed. Replying with Po versus without sending there sounds better with Po, more polite and respectful. All right. Edsel, all right. Hi, Ginno. try to connect to any American expats or Philam who retired there and talk about their life and share it. I heard about many federal, all right? Yeah, I mean, it's always good, right? Like I always tell people that, like, if you're coming to the Philippines, try to connect, get on the Facebook groups. I know you got to sift through a lot of nonsense sometimes because, sometimes, it's all, Facebook is wide open, but you can kind of gauge sometimes just by reading at the different comments of people. You can find somebody there that's a decent person and just connect with the person, reach out, just message them. Hey, I saw your post at this group and I like your comment. Start out like that. Introduce yourself, get to know people before you come here. You're gonna find people. I mean, people find me. It's like Ruben's found me here. Edgar's found me here. Daniel, JP. There's people found me. And I'm genuinely helping them, no charge. No charge. LOL. I'll get dazzled drunk when I visit. It doesn't take much for Dazzle to get drunk, Ray. 1-2 beers, and she'll be talkative. She gets talkative when she's not a big drinker. She's not a big drinker. I'll keep handing you an open beer, and yeah, that's what she does. When I'm at the Canadian Bieber, people would buy me beer, and I don't want to they know if I'm, so I'll take a couple of sips and I put it down, and Dazzle's like trying to finish the beer, so I don't have to. Gus Spring, all right. I get that almost every live stream, Gus Spring, and I got the haircut. I got my haircut, so Gus Spring got that tight fade. I'm like I said, I'm a Breaking Bad fan, so I don't get offended, if you call me Gus Spring. If I look like him, I look like him. It's like I actually think it's a compliment. Who retired or plan to retire? I mean, retired federal. Yeah, most of the people that reach out to me, Edsel, the people that reach out to me, they're retired from, as long as they get a pension. It's not just military, federal, postal. I know my friend Michael C., he retired from the postal service in the U.S. Teacher, I know state teachers have retirement. So a lot of times, those are the people that I help. The people that I end up contacting me and helping them to move here are the people on a budget or want to watch their budget. People that got multiple pensions. I know there's people that got military, disability, federal, Social Security. They don't need my help. They got a lot of money. So it's like the people that reach out to me are like the people like me. I retired here on my military pension alone. I've been doing it for 14 years, save money every month. I've been able to build a nice nest egg, been able to buy this house, buy land, pay cash for my car, you can do it, with just one pension, as long as you know how to budget, live below your means. That's what I always tell people. A lot of people get in trouble in the Philippines because they bring that American lifestyle here. They come here. My dog wants to go out, so I gotta let her out. They come here to the Philippines and they live above their means. Still carry credit cards. It's still that culture. I'm not going to tell a person how to handle their finances or anything like that, but I think credit cards, with the interest rates on credit cards, maybe when I had the same thing, when I was younger, but I don't have any more credit cards now. I don't owe any money on credit cards, just because, to me, if I can't afford it cash, I won't buy it. I'm more frugal now than when I lived in the US, because I made more money in the US when I was there. When I retired, it's a different dynamic when you're working, because you're making money, you're working, you need a vacation to get rid of the stress of making money, right? Because of work. But when you're retired, it's more, money, you'll realize this once you retire. money is not, it's important because it's how you can live, but it's not the same level of importance. Like for me, I don't buy things anymore. I'm really frugal. Everything I wear is like from ukay from the thrift store. I don't buy new things anymore. I don't buy electronics. I don't buy toys, nothing like that anymore, because for me, it's no longer about material things. I realized that, for me anyway, the more I had, the more material things I had, all it brought to me was stress, because when you got a lot of material things, they break, like if you're in the US, if you have a boat, if you have a motorbike for hobby, if you got like a fishing boat, things break, things got to be replaced, all these gadgets that people have, they'll break. You get a drone, you get a new iPhone, they break, and then, it's just added stress. For me, the less I've had in retirement, the easier my life's been. Just for me, I know like I said, we're all different, but for me, that's one thing I found. The more minimalist I've become, the easier my life has been, the less stress that I have. The deposit for SR expanded courtesy military did not increase for 40. It covers it in a... Oh, all right. Check out Ray in the Philippines. Check out his channel. He's doing like very informational videos like SRRV. Look for his SRRV videos. So he discussed the topic already. Thanks for sharing that, Ray. Edgar, Ginno, you retire in the Philippines if you're rich because the people are so nice and friendly. Just wish I was rich. Just wish I was rich. You that's funny, Edgar. To me, it's like it's a lot, Edgar. Like if like I have friends in the U.S. Another Ray there, and I have another Ray that he's in the U.S. He lives in a nice house. He's got by the lake, by the lake. He can afford the living in the retiring. He can afford retiring in the States. That's a lot, and he's Filipino. He's Filipino American. That's a lot to give up. If I was in his shoes, if I was living in a nice, comfortable house in the United States, there wouldn't be a reason for me to retire in the Philippines. Just me, just because if I can afford retirement there, and I have there's a lot you're giving up when you come to the Philippines, coming from the United States. Like I said, the conveniences, the efficiencies. If you're the type that gets easily upset about like how processes don't make sense, or how crazy some of the waiting time or processes are here, that's a lot to give up. When you're in the US, man, everything's so efficient. Everything's like, you can go to a website. You can order anything on a website. You can sign up for appointments online. You can pay everything online. You do almost anything online. In the Philippines, most websites here, most anything online here never works. If it works half the time, you're lucky. You're lucky. It's like even like Gcash. I use Gcash a lot here. Lately, they've been improving. But I remember when Gcash was hit or miss. Like I could be like ready to use my Gcash, and it's like error. I'm like, what the heck? It's like, in the US, your apps in the US, your websites, and anything is just, it runs more efficient. Here in the Philippines, I have yet to find a website here that's reliable. That especially the websites that where you got to input data in it, and you have to send, to like, or process, you'll always get that error at the end, after typing in all your information, it's all complete, right? Or you're booking a hotel, or you're like doing something online, and then hit click, to like send it, and then go error, like, oh no, after all that typing, it's just more efficient. That's a lot to give up, to come here. But I do agree, it's like people are much friendlier from what I've seen, even when I was in the US, it's like people are kind of standoffish in the US, kind of like you have to, you almost have to, like in the US, kind of be like careful with people because you don't know. But that could be said anywhere. That could be said here too. It's not like everybody in the Philippines is like friendly. You got to watch yourself here too. You have to like you don't trust it. It's universal anywhere you go. You just can't all of a sudden trust everybody. Alex, hey, all right. I saw Mexican Open, right? Yeah, Guadalajara, Mexico. Led first, but lost. Okay, got back in the second set. Very tight. Now lead. Oh, final set. So she's still in it. Leads. All right. I'll watch the highlights after the live stream here. Illegal in the Philippines. In our province, our province actually, there's a pride and joy of many people in our province of Aklan is cockfighting. I mean, here in our province of Aklan, there is not a single town here. We have 17 towns, 17 municipalities. And each of the towns here, even Boracay Island, they all have arenas, fighting cock arenas. It's a way of life here. It's a culture here in our province. People here are really proud of that rooster. That rooster, gamecock. They're really like that's a pride and joy for many people here. Success in life has nothing to do with money. I think so, Ray. I learned that a long time ago. It helped me that when I retired here, and then I start realizing that sometimes some of the people that I've met, Ray, the ones that are money, they're not the nicest people. It's usually because they feel entitled, they feel like they're above everybody, so they don't treat everybody the same, or they don't treat people with respect. They expect respect because they have a lot of money. It's just my opinion, just what I've seen. I've seen more humble, more friendly, more honest people that are not rich. It's like I have just seen money. I've seen it, how it corrupts people. They don't put their money to good use. A lot of times they get the money and they want to make more money. It's like a never ending. They can't get enough money. Happiness is the true measure of success in my. Yep. It's like to me, happiness is just waking up every day, Ray, and I feel the feeling of gratefulness in my heart. It's like when I wake up every day, I'm thankful for another day. It's like when I walk outside, I look at the sunrise, I feel it. I feel, it's like I thank the Lord I got another day. Because like I said many times, when you go through a life and death situation like I did with cancer, 4 months of cancer treatments, you're just thankful for anything after that. Anything else to me now is like I got a second lease of life. However, what life I have left, I'm so grateful for each day. I don't take it for granted at all. I would rather be poor and happy than rich and miserable, which is a good thing because happily broke. Hey. Me, I've just learned, with my pension, like I said, I've just saved money with my pension. To me, once I did that, once I realized that, it just like calmed everything, stopped all my worrying. It happened for me after moving here in 2011, after my 3-month point in Boracay. I noticed that the 3 months that when I landed in Boracay, I was retired. Every single month I was saving money. And to me, it was just like, wow, it's like, because when I moved to Boracay, I didn't have a car. I didn't have a motorbike. I actually didn't buy a car until 3 years. I lived here in the Philippines for 3 years and I didn't have a vehicle. I just had a mountain bike because I didn't want to incur expenses and all that. I liked it where, my first 3 years and onwards were, every time I got my pension, I'm able to put away money in the bank. I just love that dynamic. And when I realized that after being here 3 months, it removed so many worries in my mind, because before I came here to the US, when I lived in the US, I had my military pension in the US. I had my job, good paying job at St. Mary's Hospital, but I still have worries, and to me now, looking back, that was silly. That was silly, because like I was making so much money in the US, and I had a nice place, I had a nice car, and that nice things, but I was still worried about things, worried about, what will happen if I lost the job, or what will happen if your car break, it's just the US just, made me like a more worry person. And when I got here in the Philippines, after those 3 months in Boracay, and then living in Boracay, it's hard to worry there. There's not much going on there. It's like the beach, running on the beach, snorkeling, swimming. I had friends in Boracay, so it just like released me from all the burden that I had living in the U.S. The U.S. was a good place, great place. I'll always be thankful for my life in the U.S. To me, the U.S. is where you make your money, make your life, build your assets, your nest egg, but hard to enjoy life in the U.S. unless you're really rich, unless you're really like in a millionaire status, then you can enjoy it there. But if you're still like, if you're in the U.S. working and you need your job to maintain your lifestyle, there's stress to that. There's stress to that. It's legal. Those what they call tupada. Ooh, that's a new term for me. I haven't been fortunate. I've never been to a cockfighting here in the Philippines. Tupada. That's a new term for me. I've never heard of that term. The one where you just gather and have. All right. Tupada. Speaking of restaurants, if you are in the province like Panay, go to the local one. They are the best. Backyard breakthrough. Dazzle went to the breakthrough restaurant. I just had the food at the mall. They had a stall at the food court, breakthrough food court. So I got to try some of their food there, fortune. But I haven't been to the breakthrough restaurant. Dazzle did with my sister when my sister was visiting from Houston, Texas. I lived in Tagaytay. Oh wow! Wow, Patrick, that's awesome, man. I would have loved to. 13 years in Tagaytay, I would have never left. If I was living in Tagaytay, I probably would have never left. Just the weather, I considered it. That was on my list when I did my recon in 2010, the year before I came. I visited Boracay, Baguio, Tagaytay, Angeles, and Olongapo. And I ended up Boracay was my choice, and I never left. Once I got to Boracay, Aklan province, I've been here the whole time. Things done free comes from the heart. Things done free comes from the heart. I like that. I like that sentiment. Where is the party? Where's the party? Ray is asking, where's the party? It's always quiet for me, which I like. All right. Ray, some like it hot, some like it cool, bro. Ray, love that shirt, Ginno. All right. I got this from my friend Evelyn from Las Vegas. She was vacationing. I used to work with Evelyn at Clark Air Base. We were same work in the hospital there in the outpatient records department, and she visited. I actually didn't get to see her because she was supposed to go to Boracay, then she canceled last minute. But when she flew to Angeles City to spend time with her family, she had a couple of shirts for me, and she mailed it to me here. DHL mailed it to me, like not postal service. They made it. It made it. So I got this one and another shirt from Evelyn. That's why I love wearing shirts like this, because it has value to me. It's like I remember each shirt that I got, from whoever, and I like the military shirts that I get. I remember each one, who gave it to me, where it came from. I hear you, Patrick. I'm not opposed to cutting loose. I just haven't seen a party place. Yeah, when I went to Tagaytay, I really didn't see a party place. I didn't see no clubs or anything like that, Ray. I like the Starbucks. That was like when we stayed in Tagaytay. That was a daily trip for me. was the Starbucks overlooking the Taal volcano and the lake. You know, I love that place, man. I could just sit there for hours. I am definitely minimalist, living my life like I can pack 2 suitcases, whatever, smart and move. Yeah, see, you know, I was the same, you know, Ray, till I got married. Of course, you know, it changed. You know, when I moved to Boracay, I had 1 suitcase and a backpack, and that was my whole plan. But you know, life takes you to better places, better situations, and my marriage to Dazzle's nothing but been a blessing to me. I have a family now. You know, it's like we're a whole family now here. I agree, Ray. I got everything I needed in one carry-on. There you go, Edgar. And you're like you're what is that? A person that with my heart, you know, the same. We're like kindred spirits, Edgar. To me, that's the way to go. That's the way to go. It's like travel light. That way, if you go to a place, if you don't like it, that was my plan when I landed in Boracay. If I didn't like it, I'll move to like Baguio City. It just happened for me that, man, I fell in love with Boracay. The minute I lived there, you know, my 18 months in Boracay were like the best memories I have, you know, since my retirement. No plans of moving. I love Tagaytay, but knowing I could pull up stakes things is peace of mind. I'll never be stuck. Yeah. And I always tell, that's a good situation anyway, Ray, that you're in. I always tell people, you know, that's ideal to have like a home base. You know, once you find your home base in the Philippines, most the retirees that I met, the single retirees especially, when they come to the Philippines, they just select like a home base. And it's different for everybody. Like for Ray, Tagaytay, man, it's like awesome. I'm jealous, Ray. You got an awesome home base. That's your home base. But from there, you could travel the Philippines. You know, I mean, Ray's coming here to Panay Island. So I'm sure once he's done with Panay Island, he might hit Cebu. He might hit Bohol. He might hit Dumaguete. You know, so many options, you know, Bicol region. You know, it's like so many places to visit here in the Philippines. To me, I think that's one of the best things about retirement for me. You know, my experience. You know, I retired here in 2011. Of so many places that I visited that I would have never seen. You know, it's like if I had continued working in the U.S. till I was 62. You know, there's not a day that goes by that, you know, it's like I'm thankful that I made that jump. You know, made that leap. You know, it was a leap of faith. You know, it's like many of my friends and family in the U.S. you know didn't agree with my choice, but to me. It was a choice that I'm looking back. It's like one of the best moves I've done in my life because I got to experience more. I got to enjoy my life. You know, now you know it's like even when I got cancer, you know, it's like I didn't feel like oh dang, you know, I felt like well, you know, it's like. You know, it's been a good life. You know, I was able to travel Southeast Asia. I was able to travel the Philippines. I met my wife here. We have a family. You know, to me, it's like I'm glad that you know if it could have been me working in the U.S. still, and then you know work would have consumed me. You know, I have family in the States, my sister, relatives, but. You know how it's different. It's a different vibe with family in the U.S. Family in the U.S., everybody got their own thing going. You know, it's like if I, you know, when I was living in the U.S. in Arizona, I might see my sister, my relatives. I might see them like once a year, maybe at Thanksgiving. Maybe I have to fly to Texas to see them. You know, it's not the same. You know, here when you say family here, you know, especially if you live like Dazzle, she was born and raised in Katiklan, and about an hour and 15 minutes away from this house. When we go to Katiklan, she's got like hundreds of relatives there. She's got like cousins, uncles, aunties, you know, grandparents. I mean, you know, to me, it's a different dynamic. You know, I like that dynamic. I like having a lot of people, a lot of good people in my life. I think in the U.S. it's just that mentality. You know, in the U.S. it's just like that. There's just a separation of people. You know, it's just people aren't just like. I mean, you got family, but you're not spending all day, every day. You know, part of your. You know, like for us. Every single birthday of a nephew, niece, cousin, we attend. We attend. Mom's birthday, Dazzle's birthday, Leanne, we celebrate. It's a big group. We get together. I just like that dynamic. As I have gotten older, I just appreciate that. My dog wants to go in. That's a signal when she barks like one time. All right, Toy. She was sunbathing out there, but now she wants back in. One bark. Chloe already went outside this morning. And then after the live stream, I'll have to walk them. I usually put them on Bumblebee. I take them to like a spot here in our community that's away from people, and then I let them loose, because they're supposed to be leash, but I like letting them run around a little bit. But I find a spot where there's no houses, there's not people. Ella match suspended now due to rain. All right, due to rain. Okay, all right. I might be able to catch it after the live stream here. They are restart the. Fly Me to the Philippines is an extremely detailed and comprehensive book for expats that are serious about moving. Oh, all right. I think you mentioned that before. You mentioned that. And it's good that you're like doing all that, Daniel. To me, it's like, it can't hurt, The more you know before you come here, the better. Money can't buy happiness, but money can certainly buy a worry-free life. Yes. It can like you can, get, if you're super rich, I mean, you can buy all the help, maids, you can, But I think one thing I noticed, it's still, it doesn't really matter how much money you have. There's people with a lot of money still have problems, I think that's just part of life, It's like you see it all the time, celebrities being drug addicted or drug overdose. And I know they got a lot of money, they got millions of money, but they still get into that, it's still not there. The money still doesn't complete them, which surprises me, but I wouldn't know how that would feel. I wouldn't know because I'm not in their situation. I'm not going to judge them because they could be dealing with all kinds of other issues. I won't see it. I'm the budget retiree, I'm happy with the little things. I think that's what makes me happy. It's like I still enjoy the little things. Like simple things here, like even in the afternoon, like Dazzle and I, we're like, hey babe, let's go get merienda, and we'll go to like our favorite cafe here in Bumblebee, and we'll eat like buko pie, right? Buko pie, and I'll order like a mango shake, and I'm like, to me, it's so simple. It's so simple. Freshly baked buko pie, mango shake, but for me, I'm glad that those kind of little things still brings me a lot of joy, a lot of satisfaction. Like when I'm eating the buko pie, when I'm drinking my mango shake, I'm like, and I'm only paying like $3 for the whole thing. I'm like, to me, it's like a blessing, that I'm still able to like appreciate the little things in life. I think that's a problem, when you start, you see people like accumulate nice houses or cars, collect things. They got so much material things, and they're still trying to search for the next material thing. Next, nothing seems to please them, So I'm glad I'm not in that situation. It's very helpful as I prepare for my move. Lots of lists to do. All right. I remember, Daniel, before my move, I had, I'm an Excel spreadsheet guy. I'm an admin guy. I'm a hospital administration, my job. So everything was like, I had a spreadsheet. It was like, as I add things that I needed, and I would check off. I had like a time of completion, with dates. I remember checking off things. Yes, Benny, if you use the money the right way, if you use money to buy things that will later bring you stress, is where the problem lies, in my opinion. Yeah. And some people, I think, just don't know how to use money. It's like when I hear about, these celebrities, like, why, being addicted to drugs, it's like, man, you work so hard on a career, you build a career, and then, you have to use drugs to like, don't make sense to me. Don't make sense to me sometimes. I don't. I watch so many different videos. I don't need to read a book. Plus, always like doing things and learn. Yeah, it's good to be informed. Like me, I watch videos, but it's also good to just go with the flow, right? Just go with the flow. Like me, I don't like planning things. A lot of things that Dazzle and I do, like if we're going to the beach, going fishing, going, Calibo, whatever we do, a lot of times it's spontaneous. We don't, like when Dazzle wakes up, when she'll wake up here like at 10. What are we doing today? I kind of like that spontaneity. That's why, people always try to schedule things with me in Boracay. Hey, I'll be in Boracay. I don't like scheduling because a lot of times they cancel anyway or something happens. Oh, sorry, Ginno, they'll make it. I always tell them, hey, when you get to Boracay, text me. If I'm able to go, I'll go. If not, it is what it is. It's like, it's hard for me to plan like, Ginno, I'm going to be in Boracay November 5th. I'll be like, November 5th? We're only in September, brother. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to do in November yet. And so many things can happen here. In November 5th, it could be a raining downpour. It could be a torrential rain. It's not fun in Boracay when it's like torrential rain, when you can't go to Front Beach or you can't walk around Boracay Island. I concur. Make your dollars in the USA, then run, Forrest, run. Run, Forrest, run. Yes, Edgar, I learned most of my making mistakes. I am great learner because I make mistakes. You make mistakes. We all do, man. I made mistakes here. One of the worst things I ever did here was like buying a used car. I will never buy a used car here in the Philippines again. At the time, I didn't have enough to buy a new car cash because I don't like payments and horrible interest rates here. If you can get a car here in the Philippines, Navy Federal Credit Union for like military vets, or if you can open an account with Navy Federal Credit Union in the US, that's how you would want to purchase a vehicle here. But if you're going to purchase a vehicle in the Philippines using the banks here or the credit system here, horrible. I would not recommend it. The interest rates here are crazy. But at the time, it was 2014, like that's what I said, 3 years I didn't drive a car. I bought a used car. I only paid like $3,000 for it. It was a Honda Accord. And that car was just horrible. More likely that car had, the guy that sold it to me, it's used car, I'm paying $3,000. So I can't expect much, but I at least would have expected it to run, right? Now, I almost, when you buy a used car, you're almost expecting that, well, you might have to replace this, replace that. But it was a constant replace this, replace that, so I will never do that again. I would never buy a used car. I will save my money when it's time to replace our Toyota Wigo. This one's a 2019. Hopefully I can get 4 or 5 more years on this. When it's time to replace it, we'll replace it with a brand new car and I'll pay cash. I'm not gonna do the monthly payments here. Monthly payments here are horrible, man. Ray, life has been a lot like that. Life has been a lot like that. Good point. Good. Larry Heavy. All right, Larry had said hi. Hello, Larry. Hello, Larry. If I ever get married, I'll build a little house for my wife after a reasonable amount of time. But she will have her deuces until I am ready to sit on the porch. All right. Hey, as long as you got an idea, right? You got a plan, you got a plan. You know what you want. You know what you're looking for. It's like, and for me, I'm sensing you're not in a rush. I'm sensing, just from what I see, you're not in a rush to get into a relationship here. And I think those are the best kinds. The ones that aren't in a rush to get, because once you commit to a Filipina here, once you date a Filipina here, it's not the same dynamic in the US where you can date others until you're married. It's like in the US, when you're single, you're single. You can't expect somebody like in the US, if I ask a lady for a date and we will go out on a date, can't expect that lady to like not go out with other guys. You're not married. You ain't got a ring on it. different dynamic here in the Philippines. Here in the Philippines, a lot of times, the minute you ask for that date, man, that's a big commitment already. They're expecting already. Their relationship have a tendency of going fast here. You know, it goes from 0 to 60 very fast. You know, make sure before you like go out on that date, or you know, before you like say things that you know, relationship wise, make sure that that's the Filipina that you want. That you know. You don't want to break any hearts, right? You don't want to break, you know, you don't want a Filipina like expecting something and you're not fully committed to that, you know. You know, that's why you know, the guys, I always tell guys that are, you know, be careful, be careful here. Take your time, take your time. What's the rush? What's the rush, right? You're retired. To me, establish your life, live a good life first. And the Filipina will come. You know, to me that makes more sense. Instead of like you're constantly in the hunt for the Filipina, or you want that Filipina partner right away. You know, to me the ones that come to your life more natural, I think has a better chance of working. Yes. No regrets here. Love both Wyoming and Southeast Asia. My life is busy, busy, busy. Body don't work well, but brain's still great. All right, Belus. All right. To me, Belus, you know, I've mentioned this many times on my live streams. I've even done videos about it. You're in an ideal situation because you have life in both countries. You can split your time between Wyoming and the Philippines. 6 months, you know, you can split time. To me, that's the ideal because you're getting the best of both worlds. But of course, not all, you know, can afford that. Not, you know, it's costs money to maintain something in the U.S. that you can leave and then come to the field and maintain here. You know, takes a lot of work. I'm sure it took a lot of work for you, Belus, to like establish that. Have a farm in the Philippines, have a farm in Wyoming. You know, that can't be easy. That can't be easy maintaining both places. Hey, good morning, James. Good morning. I saw your video. You went to the Aroma Beach in Batan. I actually haven't been there. I haven't been to that one, but I saw the video. I know it's a nice place. It's a nice place there. Good morning, James. Edgar, I told people when I first started researching the Philippines, I was moving to Tagaytay because of the weather. Yeah. Actually, me, looking back, Edgar, I was leaning more towards Baguio. You know, I was leaning more towards Baguio to live because, you know, the same thing, the cooler temperature, living up in the mountains. You know, I love coffee. They got Benguet coffee over there. They got the best cafes in Baguio City. But I was, you know, like this with Boracay, Baguio, Boracay, you know, I was like, it was a toss-up for me. And then I just like, well, I'll try, I said, I'll try Boracay for 6 months. If I don't like it, I'll go to Baguio. And I never left. Actually, when I landed, March of 2011 is when I landed in Boracay Island. I never left Aklan. You know, I've been here the whole time, you know, and don't want to move, you know, and that's a good feeling for me. It's like, I don't really want to move. I wouldn't mind, like Dazzle and I have talked about this, maybe, you know, of course we got Leanna now, maybe when Leanna's in college, you know, maybe travel somewhere and live 6 months, you know, just to try, you know, maintain our home here, like even to Thailand. You know, I wouldn't mind living in Thailand, Chiang Mai. I was thinking about live there for 6 months, just something different, or live somewhere in the Philippines that I haven't been yet, live for 6 months and then come back to our home, you know. I've always liked that, you know, I've always liked traveling. Hopefully I'll get healthier. That's the other thing. I gotta continue with my health. I gotta improve my health, you know. I just don't have the endurance now, you know. I have to like pace myself. I tire easy. So, you know, I can't do a lot of the adventures that I used to do. I don't mountain bike anymore. I don't snorkel because it's hard on my lungs to hold my breath now. You know, I can't hold my breath long now, but those are some of the activities that I enjoyed before. So, you know, building up, hopefully in another year or two, you know, I'm hoping, but I'm getting older too. I'll be 60 next year. So I'm like I said, I'm just thankful to be alive, just trying to enjoy each and every day. Hello, J&K. I like that. Hello, J&K. James and Karen from James and Karen's Adventures. Hello, Ginno and the Posse. Hello, Ginno and the Posse. All right. Welcome back, JP. All right, JP. The quest for possessions never ends. I think so. JP. I often see people that collect things. That's how hoarders start, right? The hoarders thing, like and relentless. I used to watch that show on TV, Hoarders, and I'm looking at people like pile on their garage inside. You can almost walk in their house. They got so much stuff. Hello, Sergeant USA. All right. There is a waterfall hidden over there. Oh, I didn't know they had a waterfall in Batan somewhere. We spotted a poster but went down a narrow trail and couldn't find it. We are going to go back and fly. Hello, go to find. Yeah, I know. I've seen Aroma Beach before. Yeah, we probably need to find a guide or somebody that's been to that waterfalls. And I know there's just so much stuff here in Aklan province. I wish they would do a better job, like with these waterfalls. Like James and Karen, they went to like that Kipot. I know they went to that Kipot Falls. I wish they would like have like signage, or go to like this barangay, and from this barangay they'll guide you to the places. But I guess they're trying to keep it to themselves. Maybe they're trying to keep it to themselves. They don't want to share. They don't want people finding the good spots. But there's I know Aklan province here, man. There's just so many places like that, waterfalls, rivers, hidden beaches. That people that's not on the radar, not on the map. That's when you really have to venture. That I'm sure there's areas here where if you go hiking, you'll discover so many. If you're a hiker, you would discover many places here. The top 2 places that I think about to live are Japan and Vietnam for 3 to 6 months. Yeah, I mean, to me, that's always been like, drop a Google map when you find a great spot. I'll try to do that now, JP. I keep him, I'll try to do that. But here, the signal too, sometimes it's hit or miss. That's the one thing when you use Google Maps here, JP. Like if you're traveling here in Aklan, you're following Google Maps, you're going to a place, all of a sudden it won't work. The data on the phone, I use smart data on my phone. All of a sudden, we're following, it's telling us, make a right turn, 5 kilometers, it'll do that on Google Maps, and all of a sudden, nothing, and then you check, oh no, no signal, so you have to wait till you get a signal. MJ Show and Tell, hi. It was very difficult to find. I remember that video, James. I watched that Kipot Falls. If not for a local 8-year-old, I remember that kid. Yeah, that's the thing, it's like JP, it's like when you go to these places, these waterfalls or whatever, a lot of times you don't get signal, so you can't drop a pin or you can't Google map it and say Kipot Falls, take me to Kipot Falls. It might show it to you in the beginning, right? It'll show you if I'm in Numancia, Kipot Falls. Oh, there it is. It's showing, right? And then you go, okay, start, right? And then you're following it. And then halfway through it, it's gonna go blank on you, and you're going okay, where do I go now? And they don't do a good job of signage. Not a lot of signage. Not normally the way to find things like that. Like me. I've been wanting to find this lighthouse. They tell me it's called Fatima Lighthouse in New Washington, Aklan. I like lighthouses. I like filming it. I like looking at it. And one, I know Fatima New Washington. I can Google map it, right? And I've done it before. I go Fatima Lighthouse and it'll Google map it. But when I go to New Washington, there's an area where it's like blank. You know, you lose it. So you're like, okay, where do I go now? You know? So, you know, it's just tricky to find places here. Do you like mustard? Yeah, I do like mustard. I put mustard on my hot dog. Thailand has great fishing pond with giant makong catfish. Ooh, man, yeah. I'm careful though with catfish, JP, because I know catfish, you know, they have a tendency of cutting you. You know, that whisker stinks or something, you know, and they're slippery. You know, it's like, I think they're one of the most slippery, you know, they're so slippery. And then you got to be careful, you know, like handling them because, you know, I've been cut by a catfish before. Ginno, you have to pre-download the Google Maps of where you are going so it can. Okay, I will try that. I'll see if that works here. You know, it's like I'll ask Dazzle. She's more technical than me. So download the map, work offline. All right. I will try that. I am scrolling through the live feed. I don't know your channel, but I will check your that. All right. Thank you. Our channel is Dazzle, Dazel TV. We've been doing YouTube now. It'll be come February. It'll be 4 years. We do a lot of videos like our life here in Aklan province, and then I do a lot of like people interested in retirement here in the Philippines because I retired here when I was 45. 14 years now I've been retired here in Aklan province, and I help people guide them through here, guide them through the process. Any questions, you know, so I try to answer best I can. I don't have all the answers. Sometimes I have to research. Sometimes I have to ask other people, but that's what our channel, a synopsis, you know, a summary of our channel. Dazzle. Dazel. Almost. You almost have not Dazel. It's my wife's name. My wife's name is Dazzle. And you'll see me carrying an umbrella on White Beach, Boracay. That's the picture on our There it is. And then you should see my picture. You should see like me carrying an umbrella on White Beach. Oh, I got a message from my friend Gary. Usually I get messages from people when I'm live streaming. They don't want to, oh, you're welcome, MJ. They don't want to make the comment. On the live stream, so they message me on Messenger or WhatsApp. That's why after the live stream, I usually have a few messages on my Messenger and then also on WhatsApp. And I try to answer everybody. I make sure, you know, if you contact me with my email, my Messenger, my WhatsApp, you know, I make every effort to answer every single question. I reply to everything. The iPhone app can preload as well, but the trail is still not marked and confusing. It's probably a good idea to load both apps offline maps if you have Apple. Yes, Dazzle's her phone is an Apple 16. My app, this phone right here is an Apple 10. I don't know the older Apple here, but we'll try it. We'll try it on Dazzle's phone. Okay, cool. All right, MJ. Bill Meyer, I have been subscribed to you for a while. I came over. Oh, thank you. I think there's crossover between James and Karen's channel to our channel, and then our channel to James and Karen. Because when I go to the live stream at James and Karen, it's a lot of the same people that are on our channel are also on their channel. And we're friends, you know. I'm friends with James and Karen. So we hang out, you know. I love hanging out with James. James is a cool dude, you know. What you see is what you get with James, and also Karen. They're genuine people, great people. I love being friends with them. Not always the case sometimes here. Unfortunately, you meet people sometimes that they're different. They're different from what you think they are. It's like, but James is the real deal. James is a good guy. I'm always rooting for James. Be successful. Stay here in the Philippines. He can build a really good life here in the Philippines. The fish ponds are paid to fish. Yes. So they are helpers who handle the fish. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. It can hurt you. I think it's catch and release. Most people never catch a fish. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, G. Here, they have people working at Loola's fish farm, but you still have to unhook your fish, put it in the bucket. They will help you clean it if you don't want to clean your fish. The people there, for tip, if you give them a bucket of fish, they'll gut it, clean it, and everything, and just give them tip. I know the people at Loola's will do that because sometimes, when Dazzle and Mom, when they catch too much fish, after fishing all day, after spending the whole day fishing, the last thing they want is like coming home here and like cleaning every single fish. So sometimes they let the people clean their fish at Loola's. Sometimes it's good to have an actual handheld GPS that uses satellite triangulation. I brought one when I did backcountry backpacking years ago in Alaska. Oh man, yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. Thanks, Ginno. We are the same. We like hanging with you. I know, James. I know we're gonna be great friends. I think our friendship with James and Karen works because we're just, we just like each other. If we see each other, we're happy to see each other. We hang out. We want to do things with them, but no pressure. It's like we don't pressure them. They don't pressure us. So just great people. Great people. I'll send you a video you can show to Dazzle to get her to want. All right, to want to fly to Thailand. All right, thank you, JB. Fishing, that would interest Dazzle to fly there if she sees that. Is it true that you must maintain 25,000 in your bank account? Otherwise, the bank will take 200 every month for your account. All right. It just depends on the bank. It just depends on the bank rate. I've heard, I know most banks here in the Philippines, when you apply for your peso, when you apply for your peso account, it's on the agreement. It will say their minimum balance. Like, it will say like what minimum balance required to like open a savings, open an ATM account. So you just have to follow. If the bank says their minimum is 25,000, 20,000, or 10,000, you just maintain that balance. Now, if you don't go below the maintenance balance, yeah, they will take money out of your account every month. That's why a lot of times, if you open an account here and you don't maintain that balance, the savings balance or ATM balance, and you leave for the US, you're thinking, oh, I still got 10,000 in that bank. When you go back, it's gone. You're going, what happened to my account? Because every month, if you don't meet the minimum balance, they'll start taking money out of your bank. Fortune's here. Fortune's our banker. Fortune can second me on this. Yeah, but I do know most banks, when you open a bank account, there's a minimum balance required. My mom craved for catfish when she was pregnant with me, so that tells you. That's funny, Southern Cal. Catfish for me, I enjoyed eating catfish when I was in Louisiana because the catfish here, they cook it differently here. Here in our province of Aklan, it's not big, it's like sometimes about a foot long. On the catfish here, they put it on a stick, and they grill it. That's how they call it here, pantat, Pantat. That's how they cook catfish. I liked it when I lived in Louisiana because it's a catfish fry. It's like fillets, they square it and they use cornmeal and they deep fry it. And I love that. I love that way of eating catfish. Here, I'll eat it, but here you gotta pick through the bones. You know, you got to pick through the bones. You got to be careful. You know, it's like, and it's grilled on a. It's not fried. It's grilled. Is how they, and they're out here, like even here in Numancia, our town. Same thing with the barbecue pork, chicken, the pantat, the catfish. They got it on sticks. They'll cook it and they'll put it like on a banana trunk, and they'll poke it like that, and it's standing on display, and you just pick out the one that you like. Popular, actually, catfish is popular here in our province. Depends on the bank policies. Yes. Usually the bank will say about the minimum balance required, and you have to meet that. Like let's say you open the minimum balance for your ATM, let's say is 10,000. You just have to be over that. If your ATM goes below 10,000, yeah, they're gonna like snag some of your money every month until you get it up to 10,000. Bill Meyer is there any ways to keep the trollers from harvesting all the fish, or rather, they shouldn't be? I don't know how that process works, Bill, but I do know they exist. I know like the Chinese are bad about that, fishing in Philippine waters. They just bully us, you know. China not only bullies us, the Philippine Coast Guard, the Philippine Navy, fishermen, local fishermen. They just, you know, they feel like the whole ocean belongs to China, is how they feel. Yes, there is a minimum balance and it's very small. All right, Fortune. See, Fortune, you know, Fortune's our local banker here. He's a banker. You know, he works for a bank in the Philippines here. But your average daily balance goes below the minimum by month end. They will charge a fee. Yep, that I know. I saw that in the application. You know, so it's always in the back of my mind when I open my BDO account that I have to maintain a certain balance. That way they don't charge me an extra fee. Benny, are you saying you have long whiskers? You have long whiskers. That's funny. So better always maintain more. Yeah, that's what I do. I just above the minimum. I always keep my balance above the minimum. I've never been charged extra. I actually get interest. You know, it surprised me sometimes. You know, it's like, oh, I got an interest. It's not much, but I do get interest on my peso accounts. TV. I fell asleep after eating and listening to the book about George Marshall. Halfway through the book, but I got the idea of what Senator McCarthy was trying to tell the public. Oh, okay, all right. I think it's a different type of catfish. It's not as much meat. Yes, Edgar. Man, I was like amazed when I first saw the catfish in Louisiana, Edgar. I was like, what? That's a giant, you know. I'm used to like catfish this big here in the Philippines. Maybe, like I said, a foot. Man, the catfish in Louisiana, people were catching like 75 pounds, you know, 80 pounds of catfish. You know, they're holding it like, you know, like it takes, you know, they're heavy. Different type of catfish. China destroyed the fish population where they're at. That's why they go to other countries and steal and destroy. Yeah, I figured that's what they do, HD. I mean, they're just, you know, their government is just horrible. They bully everybody in the even in the West Philippine Sea. It's called West Philippine Sea now, but they're fishing all that area. If I win Powerball tonight, I'm calling Fortune. There you go. Fortune will get you to invest it properly. All right, I got to the bottom of the comments here, and I'm almost like at the 2-hour mark. That's usually my time. I'm actually after this live stream, we're just gonna walk the dogs, and I'm headed to Calibo. I'm making this video for a friend. My friend, he owns like several properties here in Calibo, and he wanted me to make a video about this commercial property that he has. I don't know how much interest would be with like people regarding a commercial property, and he's like offering it for rent. But I'll do the video. You know, he's a friend, so I figure I'll do it. So I'm headed to do that, but I'm gonna walk the dogs real quick and then go to Calibo. Go to Calibo, do that. Those channel cats are fleshy. Fleshy, all right? Are fleshy. Have a nice day, all right? Have a nice day, everyone. Thank you for joining the live stream, everyone. We had bullheads as well, and there were bony little catfish. Bony little catfish. Ginno, you're saying your catfish are like your cows. Bony, yeah, I know, man. You know, it's like when I eat it, there's a lot of bones in it. You gotta like pick the meat, you know. Actually, not a lot of meat on it. You know, it's like sometimes you get like you know, like the healthier, I guess the healthier, but there's just a lot of bones. I'm careful when I eat fish here, just because I don't want a bone getting stuck in my throat. All right, have a great day. Have a great day, HD. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Okay, Vaughn. All right, Vaughn. Later, brother. Later. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining the live stream. See you. All right. Take care. Take care, everyone.